Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to Massive Unboxing number 20, the Christmas 2024 edition. Welcome back, everyone, to another Massive Unboxing. We've got another awesome haul of models and some other fun items that we'll get to take a look at here in this Massive Unboxing. So go ahead and get started with some of the other items that I got for Christmas. And we start off with this calendar. Not the traditional calendar with like commercial airplanes. This is an all Boeing theme because those commercial aviation calendars, they become really hard to find these days. So, and then this next item right here, this is just a giant airplane poster. There's like some old school airplanes like the Wright Flyer in there, Curtiss JH4D, or JN4D rather, and some other like biplanes and even some early jet aircraft like the Lockheed P-80A and the McDonnell F-101A in here. So a lot of old school planes, and I actually found this, funnily enough, at a local candy store. So my parents went back there later on and got it. So really thankful for that and super excited to have it. I don't know where I'm going to hang it up though, in my room. And then now with some other odds and ends, we start off with some pens, United and Delta pens. They were bought separately, but I just put them into one bag so that it was easier. Then there's like some various stickers in here or whatever. I'll just go and open them on camera here. So it looks like it's just should just be like an assortment of, yeah, just like a different assortment of like generic aviation airplane themed stickers, which looks really cool. I do like the design that they went with here with those stickers. So we'll find some use for them at some point. And then there's even more right here. These are actually, there's some old school airline logos in here, like the old Swiss Air logo, Continental Airlines, old Finnair logo, Pan Am in there as well. And they have some current ones like Delta, Malaysia, Singapore. There was also Australian Airlines in there, which is now defunct. So some really cool stuff in here. But actually, I'll go ahead and open it up. I'll play fair. I don't want to open up one and then not open the other. So go ahead and take a look at these here. Let's see. Make sure they don't fall out. Looks like it's a bag within a bag. Gotta love those. Here. But yeah, there you go. Just a different assortment of logos of different airlines, both current and defunct. So we'll set those off to the side, and I'll just go ahead and put these off to the side here. And then another little item here, I just thought this was really cool. This is like a 2-in-1 travel bag with like a pillow and a blanket in it. So thought that was really cool of them to get for me. We'll be eager to use that on my next travel, whenever that may be. And this is a really unique item right here. So this is like a TWA pouch of some kind. And this is like an original item. I was told that there are a lot of them online on like eBay and all that. So it just opens up like this. And then inside, you will see there's like an old address book in here. This one's actually still wrapped up, so I'll go ahead and open that real quick. Take this out of the little pouch here. And yeah, just like an old school address book. You just write down people's addresses and all that back before, you know, smartphones came around. So certainly things have changed and they're not really necessary, but this is a nice little novelty item. And there is a pen here in the middle. Very much an old school pen. It looks like someone's it looks like someone was a doctor on this pen. So I don't know. This I assume, yeah, this was secondhand. So maybe it's just their pen that they threw in there. And then there is a little notepad in here. So just write down notes or whatever. It's got a little TWA emblem on it. And this is probably from like the 80s, I would say, just based on the design of it. Very cool. So we'll be hanging on to this and keeping the address book and also the pen that came with it in there. I was kind of thinking that was going to be a TWA themed one, but it looks like someone just left their own pen in there. I'm not sure what the original pens would have looked like, so we'll just leave it at that. And we've got a nice trio of comp notebooks here. These are all old airline themed. So this one is a American Airlines Chicago. Then we have United Airlines in New York, and then a Florida one from Delta Airlines. Only fitting because I was there just a couple of months ago now. So hopefully I get to go back there one of these days. I'll just go ahead and put that right there. Okay, so now we move on to the models themselves, the main attraction for this massive unboxing. And we'll go ahead and get started with the only model that's not a Florida Excursion model. And this is actually one that I've been very much excited about thanks to other reviews that I've seen of it. And this is going to be the Aviation 400 1:400 scale American Airlines Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. finally, I've got an Aviation 400 model after all these years. I've been talking about them for so long and wanting one of their models in my collection. Now we finally come to that day, and very excited to check out the magnetic removable landing gear that this aircraft has. I did see my good buddy Connor, his review on this model, and it looked really cool, so I was convinced to get it just off of that. So thanks for making that review, bud. Appreciate your work for the community. So to start off with the box, we got the Boeing logo, 787-9. There's your manufacturer logo. Image of the plane, the American logo, and the registration November 838 Alpha Alpha. I've probably spotted this one before. 1:400 scale, a die-cast aircraft model. On the bottom, we've got American, image of the plane, 1:400 scale, Boeing 787-9, and then the item number AV4191. And then there's Waffles database sticker. Just take that off, put that on the back. There you go. There's the right side of the box with just the American logo, top side, and the left side with Boeing 787-9. And then the back side of the box, which just features the American logo and other disclaimers. Aviation 400, significant praise for their quality and the details, and would you look at that? So you can see, it even does come with a stand too, that's really cool. I do not recall seeing the stand in Connor's review, but I'm sure it was there. I was just more focused on the darn model because it's so good. Let's go ahead and take this out, see how good this is. Holy cow. Wow. AV400, now I understand the hype around this manufacturer here, but good lord. Yeah, and it's really cool that they have the molded beacons on there and everything. This is like a 1:200 scale model that's just been shrunk down. That's actually really, really cool. So go ahead and, yeah, sorry about my small setup, guys. I know this has been a setup I've used for years, and certainly haven't had any major problems with it over the years, but, you know, it comes to a point where you just have to start thinking about getting a new setup here. So, as I remove the other items, so this is the bag that has the landing gear in it, and also I believe, yes, the landing gear doors are in there as well. And then there's some other items in here. The pins, I believe, I did see Syracuse Aviation's review that went into a little more detail with the gear that's used to help remove the gear and all that. And then the stand that does come with the model. I love it when these manufacturers include a stand, which we never get these days. It doesn't really cost the manufacturer that much more to include the stand with the model as opposed to just selling it separately. But for profit reasons, that is what they're going to do. So I'll go ahead and I'll install the landing gear on camera for you guys because I don't think there aren't too many tutorials to really show you how to do it. If I can get the flap to go back into the box, there we go. It's a very tight box, good lord. So throw that off to the side, and now we'll go ahead and take a look at this very lovely model. So there it is, the American 787. We'll go ahead and get the landing gear installed first. So the first thing I'll do is go ahead and open up the bag. Let me see if I can find where how do they have this folded? I think this is like folded up or something. Yep, this is like folded up, okay. There we go, and then should open up somewhere. I probably need a scissors. Good thing I got a spare pair that lays in my room for scenarios just like this, and mainly for the unboxings and all that, so go ahead and cut a area where I can open that up, just like that, and then dump out the landing gear onto the surface, so we can get a good look at them here. And of course, they are magnetic, so they will easily stick to one another. But yeah, there you go. Very nice landing gear. And I'll go ahead and make sure that these are properly installed, because the nose gear, I know, that does give some people some trouble. And yeah, I did see a review where the nose landing gear was installed backwards. But this is how it's supposed to go, just like that. Just plop it in. And it does hold its own weight when you hold it, which is good. And then now go ahead and install the main landing gear here. Just make sure I get the correct orientation here. I'm trying to work around with the camera. It's not working in my favor, so this will take me a minute. I think it's on this side. Come on. I think I got it in backwards. Yeah, I had it backwards, I think. I'll go and do this off camera. So I got the gear on, and just for grins and giggles too, I'll go ahead and take out the stand as well. So it just opens up like that, and then just plop the stand itself into the base, I think. This is actually like really loose. I think it might just slide in actually. Yeah, it's not wanting to work with me here. Let's see if I can get this into into place. There we go. Now it's more firm. That's how it should be. And then we'll just plop it onto the stand like so. If it will go on, there we go. Awesome. The American 7879 by Aviation 400, ladies and gentlemen. A very awesome model, and we definitely recommend. So let's go ahead and take a look at this wonderful model. So go ahead and get this all centered up here, and we'll zoom this in as far as we can so we can get a glimpse at all the little details that this model comes with. Start off at the front, we've got the nose cone and the cockpit windows, and then you see all the little details there. L1 door, and there's your nose landing gear, which has the aircraft type, and also I think there's a fleet code on there as well. Then we move into the American titles right here, which are a little different. I think they're a bit stretched, not exactly accurate, but certainly not a huge problem for me. You can see the molded beacon on there, and then the one antenna Wi-Fi dome right there. On the little panel details down there at the bottom, that looks so cool. And then the second dome right there, right above the L3 door. Two more antennas, L4 door, and there's also one at the bottom. You can see registration November 838 Alpha Alpha, and then the aircraft code, fleet code on there. And a lovely American tail, which looks really good. Maybe a little bright, but certainly not a deal breaker. And then on the other side, oh yeah, we should take a look at the engines too, because they should be see-through engines. Yep, they are. You can see a little bit of the red background peeking through. Man, look at the spirals on those two. That is really detailed. And then even like, you know, on the wings themselves, you get to some of the more finer details down there. The camera will focus on it, and you can kind of see it. Well, not anymore. But yeah, right side of the aircraft is basically the same, just with luggage doors included. And also, very lovely look at the right side. And then I'll go and take this off the stand here. It's just like that. Bottom of the aircraft, more printed details to be found, and even some molded details. It looks really cool. And then the top of the aircraft, really good stuff right there. Looks awesome. What a model she is from AV400. Super excited to have my first. And I would do the gear up configuration, but I don't want to waste too much more time on this. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next model at this point, and we'll go ahead and go at a much faster pace from here. So don't worry, we'll go fast. Up next, we have the Phoenix Models 1:400 scale Virgin Atlantic Airbus A330-900neo. So we're finally into the Florida Excursion models, 8 of them in total. And this particular aircraft I spotted in Miami, one of the first wide bodies that I spotted as part of this trip down to Florida. So very excited to have my first Phoenix Virgin Atlantic aircraft, and my first Virgin Atlantic aircraft overall too. So been an airline that I've been needing to get into my collection for quite some time. I'd say build up my international fleet. We've got quite a few in here, so let's go ahead and take a look. So we've got the aircraft type, image of the plane, airline logo, registration down there, and then the Platinum Series logo. We got the bottom of the aircraft and all the sides included with it, which are basically one and the same on all Phoenix models. And then there is the back of the aircraft, limited edition. Let's see how this fares. And I think, yeah, this will be my first Phoenix A330-900neo, because I have their 800neo, that house livery that I got quite a few years ago now. Kuwait has a couple of them now. Uganda Airlines has a few as well, and I think there's another airline that may have the 800neo. But the 900 is the more popular variant, and Delta, of course, has quite a few of them now. Let's go ahead and take a look, and very, very good. Let's do a QC check, as always. And yep, we are perfect. Very nice. Love to see it. I like the detail as well in the flap. There's a little Phoenix logo on there. Like to see those little details in places that most people wouldn't look. But let's go ahead and take a look at the very lovely Virgin Atlantic Airbus A330-900neo by Phoenix Models. Get that all centered up, and we should be good to go. There she is. A very nice model right here, and I do like the sticker up there at the front. That's very cool. So go ahead and get started. We have the nose cone, and there's the cockpit windows with the mask included, as with all A330neos. There's a little sticker right there, something about Britain's flag carrier, I think is what it says. Then we have the UK flag on there, and then Space Oddity is the aircraft name. L1 door right there, and then there's the nose gear door with the last 2 letters of the registration. We move into the Virgin Atlantic titles, also the one antenna and the Wi-Fi dome. Airbus A330-900 printed on there. And then the very lovely ruby red engines, love to see that. And then up towards the rear, we've got a couple more antennas, a couple red ones even. Wow, they got quite a few. There's even one more down here as well, right there. It looks like, now that I just looked at it, it almost looks like it's gonna fall out. Doesn't look like that one was fully installed all the way in at the factory, but it looks like it's holding its own weight, so that's good news. Move towards the rear, we got the registration, Golf-Victor Tango Oscar Mike, which I don't think that was the exact one that we spotted in Miami. And then there's a very lovely Virgin tail with the last 2 letters of the registration code. And then on the other side, we do have pretty much the same details over here, but a couple luggage doors on this side, you know the drill with this. Looks like the main gear doesn't exactly sit flush. Not horribly noticeable though, so I'll give that a pass. And then again, there's another look at the tail from the right side. And the winglets as well, which are red on the outside, but they do have a little detail on the inside of the aircraft. So there is the winglet right there. It just says Virgin on there, so there's a good look at that. And then we move into the bottom of the aircraft first with the big Virgin Atlantic titles. Aircraft registration printed underneath the wing, but not on the top of the aircraft there. So awesome little model from Phoenix, and that's the first of 8 models from the Florida Excursion. Let's continue. All right, so now we've got ourselves a pair of NGs before we move into all of the Gemini Jets. So we'll go ahead and start off with the regular livery one. This is the Spirit A320 with sharklets. Been meaning to add a Spirit A320 in my collection for a long time, so NG doing this sometime in like 2023, I think it was. So this should have a card in it. These two will have cards, so that's good news for me. But yeah, so Spirit A320, spotted quite a few of these across all the Florida airports, and also got one in Nashville when we were there, when Connor and I were there that morning before going down to Fort Lauderdale, and of course saw a bunch of them then when we were down in Miami, Orlando, and you know, I saw a couple in Tampa as well, mainly like the Neos and all that, so there you go. So we got Airbus A320 up on the top, and then the image of the plane, Spirit Home of the Bearfair. So this is the older livery, but honestly, I don't mind that. Then there's the airline logo, registration November 648 November Kilo, NG 1 to 400 scale collectible models, die cast metal. Bottom of the box, and then the right side, which of course Waffle's database sticker comes into play. Top of the box, and then the left side of the box. So there we go. 15036 is our item number. Let's take this puppy out. Pop the top on it, as a good friend of mine would say. And we do have a card in here, which is a nice light blue color. August 2023 is what it stated, so this is a 2023 release. It actually looks bluer on camera than it does to my naked eye, so just a little observation with that. And looks like we're good here on the quality, so that's good news, because NG's been a little inconsistent on that lately. Take this out, and it's a little greasy there, sorry about that. That's the greasy models right there, but there we go. My first NG A320. Been a long time coming, but you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. NG's release choices have got to get better as we head into 2025. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more videos on that subject matter as we head into the new year. I'll be keeping an eye out for those, but a lot of people voice their opinions on that. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and take a look at the model. And here she is, the Spirit A320 with sharklets by NG. Very nice model. Happy to complete the Spirit fleet at this point. The A319s are on their way out, so I'm not in any need of those at this point. I think there's still a couple that are flying around, but they should be all gone by 2025. Start off at the front, we've got the nose cone, cockpit windows, Airbus A320 titles right there. We move into the L1 door, one antenna up on the top, and then there's the nose gear, which does have a fleet code on it. And then the nose gear itself, which looks great. Spirit titles right here with the little scratches that makes it look animated in a way. And then we have Home of the Bear Fair, which is not really going to be taking place anymore due to the ongoing restructuring at Spirit. And then on the winglet, we do have Spirit.com printed there, and then it's Howdy printed on the inside. Now, they did change this up a little bit with with the new livery. It's now just a standard font, and I'll pop up a clip that I have from my Spirit A320 Neo flight with regards to how the inside of the winglets look with that Howdy text. But nonetheless, we go ahead and continue. There is a Wi-Fi dome up there painted yellow, and then we have the 2 antennas up there. There's one at the bottom. Registration November 648 November Kilo, an American flag, and there's also a fleet code down there as well. And then the Spirit tail, which matches the main titles on the fuselage. Right side of the aircraft, not too much to report on over here with the luggage doors, besides that rather, and then of course tail on that side as well, with a lot of great details included. Bottom of the aircraft, we do have the printed details all along there, stand hole. Top of the aircraft with the antennas, the Wi-Fi dome, and everything in between. Love to see this effort from NG and very excited to have this model. We'll go ahead and now move on to the other NG that will be joining the collection, and this one very much excited about because it is a special livery, and that's California One, the Southwest 737-800, brand new special for the 738s, which was previously on the 700s and also the 300 before it. I did sell my 700 California One at Airliners in Kansas City. Dreamliner Fan 2016 now owns that model, but I'm very happy to have, I guess, technically replaced it with the 800 now, so we'll go ahead and take a look at this in just a minute. But first, we've got the box. Boeing 737-800 California One, image of the plane, and we have part of the livery down there. Southwest logo and the registration November 8653 Alpha. Boeing license disclaimer, and then there is the bottom of the box, kind of the same structure with the text formatting and everything, but just the design is different based on the box art that they go with here. And then in the back of the box, it does have next generation model printed up there. I think that's really interesting, and not the standard NG logo. 58211 is the item number. We should have a card in here as well. Go ahead and rip that out. Yep, we do. And it also does these, they've started including these little cards. Do not hold a fuselage with the whole palm in case of being hurt by the three-dimensional antennas. And they put an exclamation point as if they're like yelling at you in a way. And here's the card right here, which does have a bit of a, oh no, that's just part of the design on there. But this is dated March 2024. Back of the card there, I love that. So there we go, 2 new cards and about 20 more points that I can note. So hopefully with the next exchange run, I can actually get something. And here she is. QC check, and we are good. How about that? California One, looking strong as ever. I forgot to mention that I did spot this in Orlando. It did a sidestep onto the parallel departure runway from where we were standing on the south side of MCO. Not sure why, but it was really cool because I noticed it was California One right as it was doing this little sidestep maneuver. So that was great to see. And the first Southwest 800 state livery that I have spotted, I did see Tennessee One in Tampa, but it was while I was in my Uber getting to TPA to do some plane spotting on my final morning there in Florida. So I did not have my camera with me, or did not have my camera on at the time, so I did not film it, but I'll have to get that one at some point as well, just for that. But here she is, California One, Southwest 737-800 by NG, a very lovely model that we have here, so let's go ahead and begin the review. Starting off up here at the front, we've got the nose cone, cockpit windows, and then we have some pitot tubes. California One, fleet code on the nose gear door. L1 door, little Southwest logo. Then we have the little star as part of the California flag. Then we have the bear and the leg going on the engine. That's a really nice feature. I love that with the livery there. A couple antennas up on the top and a bunch more on the bottom. You get the drill with that. And then there's the splits, which look great. They are all gray. Registration November 8653 Alpha, and a little fleet code up there. American flag and the Southwest tail. And then on the other side of the aircraft, we do have most of the same details over here, but just a couple luggage doors that are there on that side, and then the Southwest tail. Move to the bottom of the aircraft, we do have part of the livery that wraps around on the bottom. Also a little Southwest heart right there on the white. I did not notice that was there. And then there's the top of the aircraft with the livery also on the top as well. Neat little model here from NG, and that will complete the NG set for 2024, and hopefully with their release choices, they get better in 2025, because NG has a lot of potential, but they're just not really realizing it with the way that they're deciding on what to release. So I'll go ahead and take a little intermission here, but we'll get straight into the Gemini Jets. All right, quick hydration, and we are back to it. So now we move on to all the Gemini Jets, and we'll go ahead and start off. This is just in a random order that I have here, but they are, well, all but one are wide bodies from Gemini. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ITA Airways A330 Neo. This I spotted in Miami as well. I'm going to pop up the clip. It was a bit of a rain shower at the time, and it landed on runway 12, the diagonal runway there. So it didn't get the clearest shot, but certainly better than nothing. There is the model inside, looking great. Again, this box is a bit small, but I prefer they use this box if this is what works. Pamphlet up there, and then on the back, this is a 2024 release, and this is one of only 2 2024 releases we have, and this will complete the Gemini 2024 set, at least for now. Item number is GJITY 2217. So this will be my first ITA Airways model. Super excited to add this airline into the collection. And, oh, that's on the bottom there. Let's take that off. And there we go. Wow. Yeah, that blue's definitely darker than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little brighter, but the CGI on the box is definitely on the darker side, so it's pretty close, I would say, to what it should be. But yeah, looking really good. Looks awesome. And here she is, the ITA Airways A330neo by Gemini Jets. Looking awesome. So go ahead and begin up at the front once again, starting off with the nose cone. We have the cockpit windows right there. Try to get that glare out of the shot if I can. There we go. There's a little SkyTeam logo right there, and then some text. I think that's supposed to be an aircraft name. L1 door right there, and then we have a fleet code on the nose gear door, the nose gear itself. One antenna up at the top. There's the ITA Airways titles. I used to pronounce it ITA, but the official pronunciation, as far as I'm concerned, would be ITA. So ITA Airways titles right there, and then we have some panel details down there at the bottom. L2 door right there, and then we move into the engines, which are white, and they do have some elements of the Italian flag on there, the green and like the orange color, so that's part of the flag colors for Italy. Nothing on the overwing exits there, but looks like we may have some wing flex on this, which has been unfortunate. L3 door, we move into the antennas up here, and then the Wi-Fi dome. Airbus A330-900neo, and then the registration of Echo India-Hotel Juliet November. I don't think this is the exact one we spotted in Miami. And then there is the tail of the aircraft with the very lovely design elements up here, and then the like Italian flag again, and the last two letters of the registration printed up there. I'll get a little front profile here, and then we can go ahead and conclude whether or not there is some wing flex. Yeah, there is. At least on that. At least it's only on one of the two and not on both. But it does look a bit awkward with that. So a little unfortunate there, but not a huge deal breaker for me, so I can live with it. No hassle to try and get that returned so that I can get another one. The right side of the aircraft have a couple luggage doors, of course. Nothing unusual there. Move into the bottom of the aircraft. We do have the ITA Airways logo, Gemini Jets logo, registration on the underside of the wing and also on the top side here. Very nice. So awesome little model here from Gemini Jets with the ITA Airways A330neo. Let's continue. Up next, we have the Gemini Jets 1:400 scale Air Canada cargo Boeing 767-300 freighter. This is another aircraft that I spotted in Miami. It was during the end of our spotting session. It came in as the sun was setting and it was getting dark, so got a really nice dark shot of it, if you will. So I was really interested to add this into the collection, and this is the only other 2024 release that we do have in this. This is from it was from the February-March announcement. There's the model inside, looking nice, and all the other fun stuff. And then on the back, of course, this is a 2024 release with Air Canada license disclaimers included on the bottom. I did see this at Airliners International. I thought about getting it there, but it didn't really speak to me that much there, so I passed up on it. But then spotting it in Miami, I was like, oh, why not? Let's add it. Item number is GJACA 2240. Up the top once again. I think this might be my first 763 actually that is a freighter with no winglets. So there we go. Wow. Cool. And the landing gear is very stiff on the one side. The main gear, well, it does roll a little bit. The starboard side doesn't roll very well. It's very stiff, and yeah, it's kind of inconsistent in a way. So, and the wheels being stiff don't bother me too much. I'm not going to roll it around that much. It just sits in one spot until I move it, and it's not going to be rolled around anyway, so I don't really mind if the gear is stiff. But I know that it can cause some trouble if the aircraft doesn't sit down properly. If it's stiff at an angle and then you can't get it back in, you can't correct it, then that's when it can cause issues. So, but it looks like here, this one does sit pretty flush, so that's good news. But there she is, Air Canada Cargo 767-300 freighter by Gemini Jets. A neat little model here, and I'm happy to add this to the collection after having spotted it. So go ahead and get started with the front of the aircraft, nose cone, cockpit windows, which do have the mask included. And then we have some pitot tubes printed on there. L1 door, and there's also a fleet code with a nose gear, which feels like it's a little more bent than it should be, and that doesn't seem right. Yeah, that might be a little bit of a QC fault there, but it does sit flush, so I'm not going to mention it too much. There's the Air Canada logo, and then we have the Air Canada titles up there, Air Canada Cargo, and also the one cargo loading door right there. One antenna up at the top, and then there are two more in the back. And the registration, this is Charlie-Golf X-Ray Hotel Mike, Boeing 767-300 freighter down there. one little door at the bottom, and then there is the Air Canada tail with the plate code at the top. This is not the exact registration I spotted too. That's kind of the case with all of them, but for one of them, the last model actually that we'll unbox. Now on the right side of the aircraft, we have 2 luggage doors and the usual details on that side. And then there's the underneath of the aircraft with the Air Canada logo. It's a very bright red as it appears on camera, but to my naked eye, it's a little more muted. And then on the top, we do have all the printed details featured there and other added details. It's a nice little model from Gemini Jets once again, the Air Canada Cargo 763. Let's continue. Up next, we have the Gemini Jets 1:400 scale LATAM Airlines Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. So this is a model that did receive some criticism when it was released in 2022, as it was on the Cradle mold and not the newer JC mold, so it's not going to look the greatest, but this is the only LATAM model that I could find, and of course, since I was in Miami, I spotted quite a few of them. I got one of their A320s, I got several of the Cargo 767s, and then of course the 787, which I'll have the clip of on your screen right now. This landed in the evening. Nice golden hour lighting with that, and I was like, you know what, let's get it. I wanted to get the 777 more, but I couldn't find it, so 789 is a nice compromise for now. So there's the flap right there, and you see no 1:400 scale die-cast model on this box. It's just the item number, which is GJLAN 2079. 2022 release. I think this is in the June set, something like that. Maybe June, July, August, somewhere in that window. It was somewhere in the summer, I think, is when this has gotten announced. But at any rate, we continue. So, take this out, and there we go. And yep, it is the Cradle, and the wings are definitely a little more flexed than they should be, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. I don't mind it. As long as I can get a LATAM 787, I will be happy, and this is certainly going to satisfy me very well. I'm very lenient, as you can tell. I'm very lenient on a lot of QC issues. I can forgo quite a few things. I do draw the line at some things, like the color being absurdly off, or if you do have a model that comes in broken and there's paint chips on it, then that's where I do draw the line. But for stuff like that, it's not a huge deal breaker for me. If I can live with it, I'm not gonna make a hissy fit about it. I would just rather get the model if I want it, and if I'm personally that much bothered by it, then I will just pass up on it and wait for someone else to do it. But we go ahead and move on to the review of the very lovely LATAM 787-9 by Gemini Jets. Still a nice model despite the discrepancies with regards to the old Cradle mold that we have here. We have a couple of them now. We have the nose cone up here, there's the cockpit windows, and then there is the nose gear door with the last 3 letters of the registration. L1 door right there, and then we have the LATAM logo comes into view along with the titles. Also see part of the belly logo that comes into view right there. There's one antenna up at the top, L2 door right there, and this model does not roll very smoothly. It looks like something's stuck on the rubber. There's a look at the Rolls-Royce engines as well. L3 door, L4 door back here, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner logo, 2 antennas up at the top, registration is Charlie, Charlie-Bravo, Golf, Mike, and then there is a LATAM tail. Right side of the aircraft, not too much to report on over here, of course, just with the luggage doors on this side, and all that fun stuff. So now move into the bottom of the aircraft, pretty plain, not too much to report on, but there's a gray section right there. Gemini Jets logo, stand home, and then there's the registration printed underneath. Not printed on the top though, which seems to be the case with the 787s, but there you go. Nice model from Gemini despite the Cradle, and would recommend it if you can still find it, but let's continue. Our penultimate model is our only Gemini Jets narrow body. This is the Gol 737 MAX 8. This is another model that I spotted in Miami. I did spot this, I think it's about midway through the session if I remember right. It was still pretty bright out and the daylight was still very much natural and not like golden hour sunset like it came to be later for some of the other aircraft. But your standard Gemini Jets box in here. If I remember right, this one was released in 2022. I think I do remember covering this at some point in 2022. No, this is actually 2021. But if it was 2022, it should have been early on in the year, but I'll have to go back and check. But yeah, it was somewhere like 21, 22 when I was still getting my feet wet with covering new Gemini Jets releases. Item number on this is GJGLO 2010. Certainly not something that they planned doing in 2010 since the Max didn't exist yet. Although I think they were conceptualizing it at that point. And there we go. Gull Max 8. Very nice. I love the metallic paint on the engines too, and also on part of the livery there. That's really cool. So, great effort by Gemini Jets. And here she is, the Gull 737 Max 8 by Gemini Jets. Looks like we got some wing flex on this one as well, so just do a quick view of it real quick. We do have some. It's not horrible. Could be worse. I've seen much worse examples on the next generation 737 models that they've done, especially that Avelo release. And now my tripod is wanting to... It's got a mind of its own right now. Let's try and fix that. There we go. That's much better. Nice side shot right here. So here we go. Start off, we have the nose cone, cockpit windows, Boeing 737 MAX 8 printed here. Last two letters of the registration printed on there, and also it's ETOP certified. L1 door right there, and then we have the Gull titles. This is the new livery. There's the metallic engines right there, along with the winglets, which try and get those into focus if it will let me. There we go, kind of. Some orange accents on there. Part of the Gull logo is on there. There's also a little Brazil emblem or whatever on there. There's the Brazilian flag. Registration is Papa Romeo - X-Ray Mike Papa. I think it was X-Ray Mike Sierra that we spotted in Miami, so this is a couple letters off. And then there is the tail with the fleet code printed up there as well, and then the orange and the metallic design coming into view. Right side of the aircraft, as per usual, we'll have a couple of the luggage doors. Our two antennas up on the top. This one looks like it did not get inserted in fully, and that second one as well, so definitely some issues with the antennas in this unboxing, but if that's the worst that's going to happen, I can't complain. And then on the bottom here, we do have, ooh, I do like that little design there. I'm not sure that's supposed to be like a Wi-Fi symbol right there or what, because the stand hole is blocking part of that. Gemini Jets logo and the registration printed on both wings. We have the prefix right there, and then the last three letters. On the top, though, we just have the overwing exits and the other details. So that is the second to last Gemini model. We'll move on to the final one. And our final Gemini Jets model, and the final model for Massive Unboxing number 20, the Christmas 2024 edition, it is the Gemini Jets 1/400 scale KLM cargo Boeing 747-400 freighter. This is the exact registration that I got to spot in Miami, Papa Hotel - Charlie Kilo Alpha. It was leaving Miami. I remember seeing it pop out of the cargo apron area, and then eventually came up to the runway and took off, so that was really cool. I was really very much enthusiased when I found out that Gemini did this exact registration, so I had to have this one in the collection. Save the Jumbo Jet for last. And this is not an interactive series or anything, this is just a standard Gemini Jets model. But there's the pamphlet in there, my only older Gemini Jets box that I have. This is from 2018, I don't remember what month this would have been from, but probably maybe like this sounds like a release they would do in like the fall or so. Item number on this is GJKLM 1827. So our final Gemini Jets model, are we perfect with the models this year? Because I know we've had some troubles in the past, but thankfully the last few years we've been doing fairly decent. Looks like this is a cradle mold, so that does save us some time. But there we go. Takes me right back to Miami, man. Takes me right back to Miami. Wish I could go back, but rest assured I will be back there soon. Get some more spotting done and get some of the other cool stuff that they get as well. Since we didn't get absolutely everything, there are still some things that I had yet to spot moving about, like the World Atlantic MD-80s. We didn't see any of the Red Air MD-80s. Did see the IFL Group Convair 5800 there as well, but it was just on the apron, so not sure how often that they will fly that. But at any rate, that is what we have here. KLM Cargo 747-400 freighter by Gemini Jets. Awesome. And a good way to cap off this massive unboxing is with a jumbo jet. So let's start off at the front. Nose cone right here. There's an aircraft name, Air France KLM logo. Cockpit windows up there, SkyTeam logo, emergency hatch. There's the L1 door, a few passenger windows up there, KLM Royal Dutch Airlines. This is operated by Martin Air as well, so that sticker is still present on the model. Then we have the big cargo titles just over the wings. A little Wi-Fi dome right there. Not sure if that's really needed, but I guess for communication's sake, probably need it there. Two more antennas. There is a cargo door right there. There's the registration, of course, as mentioned. The Flying Dutchman down there, Boeing 747-400 freighter. And then we have KLM Cargo printed on the tail. They have changed the cargo font, I believe. Some of the other KLM 74 freighters have a different font on it, but this is a newer livery since it does have the little droop with the blue. But there's the right side of the aircraft, not too much to report on over here. We do have KLM Cargo printed on the winglets, just on the outside though. And then on the bottom of the aircraft, we do have the registration printed there, Gemini Jets logo, stand hull, and then the top of the aircraft, we do have all the other details featured up there. And that will round out Massive Unboxing number 20, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas with your loved ones. And if you did get anything for Christmas, I hope you enjoyed it. But I think what's most important is the time that you get to spend with family and friends. It's not about the models, it's about the time with your friends and your family. An awesome assortment of models that we have here, and I'm very fortunate to have picked them all up. And a continuation of the Florida Excursion series, technically, because all these planes were aircraft that I did spot during that trip, except for this one right here. But of course, I had to get it because it's AV400. Who couldn't resist getting one of those? And then, yeah, just a lot of fun stuff, really, and I'm really excited to go back at some point and go on my next adventure and see what other cool planes I get to spot that I have to add to my collection. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Massive Unboxing. Have a great rest of your Christmas, and I hope you guys enjoyed the New Year's as well. We'll have a couple more videos to close out 2024, including the Gemini Jets year in review video, channel update, and some other important topics that we need to discuss before we get into 2025. So with that being said, have a Merry Christmas, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.